Fear is the best way to destroy democracies. I'm Dr. K. I'm a political scientist, and I need to share some really important information with you about international relations and global politics, security, and fear. There's a set of rules for just about how everything is approached. And when these rules change, it's really confusing. Psychologists call this the shattered assumptions theory. It's when events happen that challenge your core beliefs. Political priorities are different in war and peace. And just because a war hasn't been declared does not mean that where you live is really at peace. There are destabilizing factors, threats that are affecting our well-being. Threats can, of course, be kinetic, but it's also creating political instability, economic disruption, forced migration, breaking down trust, spreading misinformation, and infrastructure damage. The rules change about who you cooperate with when security is in the center focus. So do policy issues. You can see this change with things like immigration policy. Instead of humanitarian responsibilities or fairness, immigration is being framed in terms of threat or the fear of infiltration by hostile actors. What about freedom of speech? In peacetime, this is taken for granted, but it can be restricted to prevent information leaks, protect military strategies, and prevent propaganda. And war and peace don't just change priorities, they alter the values behind policies. Within the EU, the threat from Russia is viewed very differently depending on the country. And this has made it hard for the EU to really work together. And there's evidence that Russia leverages these internal disagreements. Do you know what else can be leveraged? Fake security issues. Fear is the best way to destroy democracies where rights are normally protected. And there are plenty of examples of when governments restrict or suspend rights for security reasons, but these rights are hardly ever fully restored once the perceived crisis passes. Instead, what happens is the immediate loss of rights, normalization, partial restoration of rights, and then a precedent being set for future erosion. There's always been different opinions about how the world works and how it should work, but it's pretty clear that to understand what's happening better, you should start looking at things from a security perspective. I'm Dr. K. I'm a political scientist. And you can stop by my office hours anytime.